Yeah, we got 16 minutes of wonderful time left on the show.
16. That's what. Sweet.
Yeah.
16.
So we're actually rolling, and Terry looks like Mount Rushmore.
How come just women get sweet 16 men don't honor that 16?
No, I think the
Men couldn't wait to 16.
we get 21. 21.
But the women get that too. But they're the only ones that get sweet 16.
Sweet 16. There's nothing sweet about a 16-year-old boy.
Have you ever gone to a sweet 16? I never went to a sweet 16 party. So who throws sweet 16 parties? Remember that, Bud?
It was a movie, wasn't there? 16 Candles?
16 Candles, yeah.
A record. It was a big hit rock and roll record.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 16, I raised my dad to my fist. My oldest brother said, "You are the only son out of 4 who rebelled against the father." When I was 16,
you were the only son that rebelled?
When I was 16, I used to think I was smarter than everybody, and now I realize how much I don't know.
So you got dumber as life went on, right?
No, you just realize
that's brilliant.
I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. You think you're smart, right? You realize, look how smart David is, look how smart you are.
Oh, as thou think, that's how thou believe.
Well,
what's that saying?
Yeah. Well, as you know, when you become 16 years old as a child, as a teenager, your parents get dumber as you go from like 13, 14.
Yes.
Each year, you look at your parents and go, they're so dumb. They're getting dumber by the year. And of course, by the time you're 20, then it reverses. Then you call up your old man for advice. But prior to that, it was, boy, is he dumb.
Or money.
My mom gave me $20 a week when I did stock, and that was it. Well, when I was 16, my brother used to have a .22 rifle in the corner. I stole the rifle, I pawned it, and I bought a .31 Ford for $25. And then about a week later, he said, "Where the hell is that rifle?" So I told him. He said, "Go get it." So I went, sold the car, and got his rifle out of the pawn shop.
You got the rifle back. You had to give it back to your brother.
Imagine getting a car for 25 bucks.
This is an old .31 Ford from a farmer. I was driving around with it. People used to say, "Where the hell did he get that money for that car? It was only $25.
Now, if you had it now, it would really be worth something.
So you sold a gun for the car?
I pawned it.
You pawned the gun
my
for
brother.
a car. And then you went to rob a bank and said, "I think I forgot something." And you're in there, "Okay, give me the money." Why? Well, oh yeah.
There's a getaway car
right
waiting.
I'll be right back. I have to find my gun, like Robert Blake.
Did you ever think
After dinner, he goes back to the way. See the gun anywhere? Anybody pick up my gun?
Yeah,
away with it.
I had a Magnum, and it was under the table, I think. Yeah.
One time I went up to Scorsese when I was doing New York, on stage 20, and I said to him, "Who would win in a fight, Tarzan or John Wayne?" He goes like this. He thought for a minute, he goes like this. "John Wayne. John Wayne have to. He's got a gun."
Oh yeah.
Well, that's right. Yeah, you'd have to.
Did you ever carry a gun?
Tarzan's only got a chimpanzee.
I don't think I ever saw a gun. I mean, I saw a gun when I was in the army. There I shot, but it was terrible. The kids that came from down south in the west, bam, bam, bam.
Remember that saying?
That was terrible.
They used to say, "This is your rifle, this is your gun, this is for fight, this is for fun."
This is your rifle, this is your gun.
This is for fight, this is for fun.
Which one is for fighting? The rifle? And what's the other one? This is your rifle.
I'm not going to say it on a family show.
Why is the most? You had this really strict upbringing, such a gentleman, but
it's all repressed.
All the years, yeah, it's repressed. I guess you hold back all those things, and one day they come out and
it comes gushing forward.
Yeah, all the filthy words come out.
Well, you know how they say about the killers are always the guys that look like the quiet next door to your guy. He doesn't look like he had heard a flea.
Yeah, they always interview the neighbors. Well, he always seemed like a quiet guy. He'd come around and fix the fence.
He walked his dog every day. How many women did he slit their throats on? 10 women.
Didn't say much. No, he's busy murdering people. That's why he didn't say much.
That must be terrible. got to be dead. What a state of mind to live in, my God.
Anything people please, but no rape and no murder.
Yeah.
Anything. Oh, God.
Don't say anything. They'll come up with things that rape and murder look like a party. You know, the possibilities for horrendous acts are fantastic.
Yeah, then those people would have to self-deport themselves.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's time we have to deport.
Yeah.
Deport ourselves.
You look good these days,
That's such a
Don.
big problem. What, I
feeling
didn't look good the other day.
Well, I'm just saying,
If you tell somebody they look good, it means you're comparing to a time when they
Yeah, an earlier day, you know.
oh, you have a lot of
I'd
vitality.
rather people say, that's why I like being bald.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't realize it when I got bald, very young.
Yeah.
You're bald and you don't see somebody for 10, 15 years, they say, "Gee,
You haven't changed."
a bit."
Yeah, because your hair didn't go gray, it didn't thin out, you
You see
know.
this guy's got all his hair in one day, you see, and then
How old were you when you started losing your hair?
very young. I was just tearing my hair out. You know, there's a mental problem where they do that. They just rip their hair out of their head.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forget the Latin term for it.
And that's well, it's just like people want to cut themselves. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
How do you get in? That mind is such an unbelievable.
Well, they take it in instead out, right?
Yeah.
Instead of letting things out. I don't know. It's psychological too, right? It's a pathological.
Well, you being a Jungian,
Well, my wife is. I know.
oh, you don't follow Jungian
I know.
philosophy.
You gotta decide
Young
whether you're the whippy or the
Oh,
whipper.
that's just a little part of it.
Then I wrote a song once called for a review called "The Dance of the Whip and the Scream," and the clown, the comic, was a guy who looked like Hoppo Marx, and he was so funny. And it was the dance of the whip and the scream, and then he had this naked woman on a cross.
Yeah.
Dance and he whipped. And it's dance of the whip and the scream. It's a great song. It was funny. It was a sort of a milder version of old Calcutta at that time.
Yeah.
Came out at the same time.
Did your parents ever whip you?
No, my parents were the most adorable two people. Shirley and Lou, are you kidding? They don't.
You never got whomped? Oh, boy.
They don't beat.
My dad would take his belt off, and one time my sister came after me with a hairbrush.
Your sister, your older sister, or younger? What
I
Oh,
only
no.
have one sister.
Oh, she was a disciplinarian in your
Why
family?
did she want to do this?
I guess I was probably doing something bad. I don't even
What
remember.
was it? What was it?
I told her that recently, and she said, "Oh, she didn't even remember it."
Really?
She's a Christian, good Christian.
My mother came after me with the hairbrush routine.
Hairbrush?
And she started to whack me with it, and it broke in half. And she stopped and looked at it. She goes, "You just broke my favorite hairbrush."
No, your
Yeah,
body
I broke
my
it.
brush. Your body,
And I couldn't help it.
It's so
I broke out laughing. I mean, I couldn't help it. Just
Your body broke my brush.
burst out laughing.
She whacked you with the brush.
I said, "Well,
Body.
it serves you right. Why you whipping me with your
Your
hairbrush?"
dad was in the service, so did he?
Yeah.
Was he in port, or was he always on the high seas?
Well, they'd go out like for 3 months at a time, and then they'd be in port for like 6 months.
Was he very strict? Did you remember that?
Oh, yeah, he was
scene
strict,
with
yeah.
Santini, the great Santini.
Oh yeah, that was my father, you know.
Where he played basketball with
Sure,
his son, and
yeah.
he reached that moment where his son could beat him. Wow.
Yeah, well, that was my dad. You know, he was like Bull
That
Meekum.
must have been so hard to shoot a scene like that.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, it was one of the
good,
best scenes I've
Bob.
ever seen in my life.
A lot of military kids could relate to that.
I can't imagine that ever happening with me and my dad. I can't
Is he
imagine.
a gentle guy?
Oh yeah, he was.
You're a gentle guy,
He
right?
was. My father was a genius. He was so great.
Well,
The violin, right?
well,
Loved him. I love that.
you were lucky. I was an ordinary seaman.
Truck driver who plays the violin. Go know.
My dad worked hard all day, and then he came home, and all he wanted was a little peace and quiet.
Now, what did he do? He
You
was.
was
were
a
there.
property
You
manager.
were there to upset that.
My dad, at one point in the late 20s, he owned a general store in Denver, and he had 5 vehicles, and then during the Depression, all of our relatives came and lived with us, and then they kind of fell out of the weight of taking care of everybody. So then we started working in the civil service, like a lot of people did in the 30s.
Yeah, that's right. Got government jobs to.
That's Roosevelt put everybody to work.
Well, not a bad thing.
I remember my dad and mom used to tell me, I always used to recognize this. See that eagle? There was an eagle that represented
the WP?
Yeah, I guess the
Workers Program.
What's that called? That program where they
Workers Program.
Yeah, WPA.
WPA.
And I get no matter where you go, my son gets so excited. WPA, Dad.
Yeah.
Remember the IWW?
Yeah.
Okay, my dad used to call them, I won't work, wobblies.
He didn't like unions, you did?
He didn't like the wobblies. Well, there was the AFL, AFL,
CIO.
the IWW.
Yeah.
One was for the union, the other was revolutionaries, right?
Yeah.
Worker.
International
Workers of the world.
Was that the Communist Party?
They used to call them that. I don't know. They were revolutionaries. They were the working man guy. Remember Joe Hill?
Yeah.
Woody Guthrie sang for him, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was like the heart of the Communist Party at one time in New York.
There were a lot of communists in New York, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never was. Well, actually, yeah, they're very, very liberal, but they were very poor. That's what they were.
Well, that's right. They were just the downtrodden.
Stood a chance was to form a union.
Some people went to those communist parties to pick up women.
Yeah, it's a good place to pick up a hot date.
Then they got labeled right later. This serious stuff, though, boy.
Yeah, that's you know when you think of all they went through to form a union, it starts out good. They drive the worker to the end. You can't go any further on. They explode and they fight and they finally form a union and get standards. And then the unions get corrupt at certain points.
Yeah, everything ruins itself. Yeah.
It doesn't work out. I don't know what it is.
Well, today with all the high prices of the union things, then they ship jobs overseas. So now a lot of states are against the unions. Well, I shouldn't say states, but some of the people in the states, right? Like Michigan and Ohio, Wisconsin, etc.
The unions were the only things they had to protect them. There's no protection.
Still.
Yeah.
You know, if they first Indiana just became the first right to work state.
Yeah.
And there's not too many unions there, I bet, in Indiana.
No.
Right to work means nobody has to tell you can't work because you don't have a car. I remember AGVA. You remember Guild of Variety Artists when I first started in the business? This was working club dates in the Catskill Mountains, but you had to join the union. And if you didn't, there was a guy in the mountains who drove around and followed me. They get your license, but this guy followed me. Pulled me over to the side like a traffic cop.
Yeah.
I had to give him my $25.
Well, I got it. I got an equity first, and then when I got in SAG.
Did they follow you around in the car? Did they pull you over to the side? And the guy was a tough guy too.
I only had to pay half of my SAG dues, initiation fees. Was there a union for comedy people?
AGVA, I'm telling you, AGVA. I joined SAG and after at half price because I was a member.
You get a pension out of the HGVA?
It's gone.
They wiped them. No, they're still around. They handle stuff like the Disneyland live and
oh, I see.
All live.
Live performers. Okay.
But they don't bother with the individual acts in Vegas. They don't go into Vegas. Vegas has their
When I was doing the movie Taxi Driver, Schrader had a line. Travis Bickle one time says, "Oh, women, they're like a union."
Oh, they are. You have to pay your dues on time.
That's the line.
I paid my dues. Why do I have to pay my debts?
Yeah, that's right.
Whose are your debts?
Do you ever forgive those who trespass against you?
Always.
Always.
I still call the cops and have them arrested. put in jail, so they can't.
Never call the cops.
No, don't do that. So what's our word of the day?
Maven called the cops once when I pushed the outside window in and cut and blood was spurting out. So she panicked. She called the police, and the police go, "What are we gonna do? We're not the medics. We're not what?"
How about insouciance?
Insouciance.
Is that a word?
Insouciance, what does it mean?
I don't know.
Well, you just made up a word?
I don't know.
No, it's a real word.
We didn't say they have to be words that haven't been made up yet. We created a word.
Okay, insouciance. We'll put it on the screen.
How do you say it? You can't spell it.
Insouciance.
You have to spell it.
INSOU.
If there's no such word, what are you thinking about? Spell it
SIANCE.
anyway. There's no such word.
Insouciance.
Yeah, okay, we'll put it on the screen.
Yes, insouciance, right.
Okay, folks,
Goodbye. We
Another day.
Goodbye, David. Goodbye, Don.
Our memory is running
We
out.
live to die.